Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed about that question, but you thought obviously it's good. I enjoy every day of it. We're giving our supporters some joy and some belief and some hope.
You know, there's no law. There's no one's going to die.
Yeah, bin it, mate. Just bin the whole idea. Just forget about it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. We are back with more Premier League action. The title race continues to evolve and happen every week. New teams play new teams, and they get points based on the win or losses or draws that they encounter, and the positions stay largely the same. And it's been over for like a month now, hasn't it, Will? It's the whole title race.
Never has this is all our fourth season, I think, doing this, third or fourth season. Every other season has been a blowout win for City. This somehow feels like the most boring, and it's the closest.
Well, there's no even bones to pick over, like an Arsenal or a Liverpool. Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, because they've done everything perfect.
It's like Arsenal lost the game a month ago to Aston Villa, and it was literally like Leverkusen winning the Bundesliga. It was like it was done, mathematically complete. Get the beer out. Everyone knew it was like there's no way that they'll recover from this. There's no way City will drop points in the next month. Yeah, I know they're in the Champions League. That doesn't matter. They'll have the squad to cover that. And it's come true. There's been no hiccups, no twists, no turns. Like, there's been a few moments, like the game they played against Crystal Palace. They went 1-0 down. But they came back 1-4-1. Yeah. That was the Kevin De Bruyne, I'm still him game. And that one, It's been fairly predictable for the last month. I don't think you could say Arsenal did a lot wrong. I remember at the start of the season when Tottenham looked like they were going to do an Arsenal and take a big lead out in front. But we said, well, of course they won't win it. City will come back. And we're questioning, like, will people be kind to them? Will people say, wow, look, it happened to all of us. You just can't beat City. Like, there was a bit of that where Arsenal bottled the league, but it was so long ago now. No one's even saying anymore. It's like, oh yeah, they lost a month ago, I guess now, Yeah. It felt like Arsenal were going to lose 3 more games after that. And then a proper kind of a capitulation. They've lost 1 game, and then it's like, there's not pity for Arsenal. No one's on their side, but it's like, it's kind of saying they've really screwed the pooch, No,
because I was looking it up. I saw Arsenal have gone unbeaten against the traditional Big Six this season. It's 6 wins and 4 draws, which points to, again, those are, you'd think, the toughest games. Now, that traditional Big Six, I think, includes Man United and Chelsea these days. So I'm not sure how much that stat means anymore, but it does point to, when it matters, they haven't done anything wrong, really.
Yeah, we were looking at it last year, and I had to go back to, I think, 13-14, when the last time the winner of the title didn't beat the second place team was City.
Yeah.
No, it was a weird one. They beat Liverpool, but they lost twice to Chelsea. I think Liverpool and City both lost twice to Chelsea, and Chelsea came third. That was the only outlier. But usually, if you come first, you have to beat the team that comes in second at least once, or go unbeaten against them. So Arsenal have done that, yet still they have won enough of the other games, and that's what it is. It's like, I don't know. You look at the Bayern 11 in a row. It's like you have to be kind of that level of dominance to beat it. If that was the case, people would say, well, that's a terrible league that you beat pretty much all the teams bar 1 or 2 games. That's then you're looking at a farmers league.
Yeah.
That's a farmers league.
You're right.
So if you can't lose to Aston Villa and have a chance to win the league, then there's something probably wrong with it. There's something.
Yeah. Who among us hasn't lost to Aston Villa?
Well, Aston Villa are a good side. That's the thing. They've maybe ran out a bit of steam now towards the end of the season, with the late stages of the Conference League. But, they're a good side with a really good manager. Like Ollie Watkins has been on fire this year. They've every right to beat Arsenal. Why shouldn't they? They're literally in the same league. Yeah. Not out of their league, they're in the same league. So they should have a chance of beating them. So, yeah, I don't know where you even look at it, but they played Man United. And again, this is a typical kind of a game for an Arsenal or Liverpool when you can't win the league, lads. There's no point in trying. You go to a kind of an old rivalry game like Man United and you slip up, you drop points, you go, well, now it's really gone. But they managed to get the 1-0 win despite United playing pretty well at times, actually.
Yeah, very annoying that Ten Hag, it took, 37 games, 36 games for him to go, what if, because of all the injured players, we tried to not lose the ball so much and didn't run around so much?
Yeah.
Why have we been doing this all season? It was so annoying to watch.
Wait, well, that's our breakdown last episode probably clear up for him, I'd say. You know, our defense of Casemiro. He said, actually, you know what, the lads are right. It is my fault.
I mean, that goal, which was 100% down to him not getting out quick enough.
I know.
He was, I saw someone describe it as he was jogging out from Onana's goal kick like a man crossing the road, you know, where you do the half run, half walk.
Yeah. Someone lets you cross the road, you go, oh,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Paul Merson said if it was any other centre back in the entire league, that goal wouldn't have gone in.
I don't know about that.
I guess his point was that he's not a centre back. You know, if you had a centre back, he would have just instinctively known, oh, that's a danger. You know, because Casemiro's not a centre back, it's like he did know that he shouldn't be run walking across to get it. You know, whatever, man. That was number 2 of his last game anyway. So who cares? You know, we won't see him in 2 more games after this.
There was a good example of the other way. Sometimes you watch the punditry, you think, I don't know for sure, but I think that guy's wrong. I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. There was a great example of that before the game where Peter Schmeichel was saying, I don't know what Ten Hag's doing. You know, why the hell are you putting Casemiro there? If I was manager, I'd have one of the young lads, like Willie Kumbala. He'd be playing centre-back.
Yeah.
Willie Kumbala was on the bench because he was injured. It's like, you don't think Ten Hag has thought of that?
I saw it on Sky as well, and Roy Keane's take on it was, well, if he's injured, he shouldn't be on the bench. Like, if you're on the bench, you're fit to play. I mean, that's like, if he's not, then he shouldn't be on it. They should have someone else. So, yeah, it's either that he was fit to play and he didn't bring him on, or he put an injured, inexperienced person on the bench as like a seat filler at the Oscars. Like, I mean, oh no, I'm not an actor. I'm just a seat filler here. Like, why are you there then? You know? So either way, it looks bad. It's like you didn't want to put a defender on, or he wasn't even meant to be there. There was no use to anybody, just to face in the crowd, make Old Trafford seem full. It was kind of Casemiro's fault, that one goal. But United had chances. I mean, you could equally say Holland like slipping for some reason in the first half when it was dry. The groundskeepers aren't getting paid enough, but the Glazers will. Everything but that?
Yeah, I did. It was very annoying, actually. I saw the Arsenal fans were singing the chant we mentioned before, the
Deja Vu.
Old Trafford's falling down.
Yeah.
But they were singing the Glazers stayed 10 more years. I was watching it, I was thinking, they're not though. They're not even in charge now.
Ha! Your chant is outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, lads, keep up.
1-1. Yeah, it was really, it was okay on the pitch. Like I say, it was just maybe injuries and that. I saw, because this is the thing, people do these kind of breakdowns now on X. Apparently United are the 4th most affected team by injuries in terms of days lost by injury. They're behind Brentford, Newcastle, and Liverpool. Actually, they've had more days lost by injury, and I think Newcastle and Liverpool are ahead of them, and Brentford are not far behind them, a little bit behind them, and it's Brentford also. So it's like, you know, it's not really an excuse to say the injuries. One interesting thing from the injuries, and I'm using injuries in air quotes in case you can't see me, anybody from home, because that's right. Get your tinfoil hats on. These players are faking it, according to Wayne Rooney.
There's some very good players in that squad, and the performances are way below par. And as we look at the injuries they've picked up, and some of them players can play. Some of them players can play with
the injured players.
Yeah, 100%.
That's quite a big claim. That you're saying that some Manchester United players who we're not seeing out there now are fit enough to be in that, and that's their choice.
You've got European Championships coming up, you've got an FA final coming up. It's easy for players to, you know, because they're getting a little bit of stick now, it's easy for players to like stay out for a little bit and then come back towards the final and get themselves ready for the European Championships. And you've seen it, I've seen it myself over the years. So I just think the players who are being injured, they're not filling themselves with any credit at the minute. And the manager's going to take all the stick for that.
And he hasn't mentioned his sources inside the club, which I'm sure he has. He wouldn't just say things as inflammatory as people are pretending to be hurt to embarrass Ten Hag without any kind of proof. But that's what he was on Sky Sports kind of saying, that are they really injured? Is it kind of muscle soreness or is it like ACL? I mean, there's a bit in between there of can you play with an injury? Do you want to play with an injury?
Yeah.
As I say, he didn't produce any scans. He didn't produce any kind of whistleblowers from inside United's medical staff. But there is circumstantial evidence which we can look at. I mean, it's the penultimate game of the season. United are 8th. They're not going to make Europa League or Europa Conference League probably at this point. I mean, the players in question are who? That weren't injured. Rashford, Bruno Hernandez, Lisandro Martinez, who apparently wanted to play. He said he wanted to play today. He's had a long-term injury.
Yeah.
We're talking about Martial. He's on the club, is he?
Martial, I haven't seen him in a long time. I think he might be one of the players.
Maybe. I don't know. But, okay, maybe bar Martial, these players are looking at the Euros come up in the summer. Now, I know Rashford, but Bruno Hernandez will more than likely definitely play for Portugal. Maybe he's looking at thinking, do I want to go out here? I'm not saying he's not injured at all, but if he's carrying an injury, is there a point in getting crunched here by Thomas Partey and missing the Euros so that we finish 7th instead of 8th?
Yeah.
Or will I just sit this one out and say, I think the boys can handle this one and loss without me,
Well, even the Martinez one, I think, points to something where Martinez apparently is pretty much good to come back. I think Luke Shaw is as well, or maybe Luke Shaw had another knock or something. But there's players who are being saved they're being wrapped in cotton wool for the FA Cup final. We need anything at all.
Yeah.
We need at least Martinez in that game. So I could see maybe not the players though. I would say it's more the manager and the club being like, maybe, the load management in this injury, we don't really need them in the battle for 8th.
Yeah, but I mean, if it was the manager and Arsenal are coming in, yeah, technically they're still in the title race. I mean, it didn't turn out that way, but it could have been a 5-0. It wouldn't be crazy. So, if you're saying, okay, Maguire and Martinez and Shaw are fit, but I think I'm going to go with Casemiro and Dallo and Wan-Bissaka in some kind of centre back combination. I'm not sure which yet. I'll find out on the day. I don't think it's come from the manager, is it?
I know they're just come off one of the most embarrassing defeats in club history, but how about I'm going to keep the back four unchanged?
Yeah, whereas I think, I forgot with Luke Shaw, but every time I see a predicted England for the Euros, it's always Luke Shaw on that left back spot. So if he's seen that, he's thinking, I'm going to go to the Euros, he's got to pick me. I don't need to play anymore. Anything I do with my night only hurts my case, and any more 4 losses hurts my case going to the Euros. So maybe there's maybe some circumstantial evidence, but yeah, I think it's kind of a mad thing to accuse people of faking injuries,
But especially players like Bruno, who, he only missed his first ever game in his whole career through injury last week, and this is the second one. So it's just, he's not the type. If he was the type to miss a game because he has a knock or to be thinking ahead, he would have missed 1 million games for Man United. He's played a lot of pointless games for United in his time here. Yeah,
and if it's one of the reasons that Rooney said was that they're getting a lot of stick, some of these players, that they're hiding from the spotlight. Light's too bright, Maguire, he's been through so much worse at this point. I mean, it can't affect him anymore, surely. No one was criticizing Shaw. I guess that's kind of more directed at Rashford. That people are kind of have a go at Rashford. He's just going to sit out injury.
That's what I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's Rashford's idea to fix these things here, okay, I'm got a lot of stick. I've tried the statements, tried the videos and whatever. That hasn't worked. Maybe I'll just not play and that'll get people off my back. I don't know. Would not be...
I'll just wait till this guy's gone. I'll start again with the new guy.
Yeah, wouldn't it just be easier to just come on and play well? Because he's not a bad player. It's not like he's out of his depth here. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he is playing our position and he can't do it. I mean, I just think there's some circumstantial evidence to say that maybe they're trying to mind themselves, but I don't know. I think it's a kind of a desperate kind of thing to say the team is very good right now. That's the reality. You can't put down to one. I think, particularly my United fans, they look for one thing. Is it the Glazers? Is it Rashford? Is it Maguire? Can we fix this one thing and then we'll be back to winning titles? It's no, definitely not. You know?
It's fucked.
What's going to take longer? The rebuild on the pitch or the rebuild of the stadium and apparently this week, the training ground?
Yeah.
That kind of sums it up. That's the man who's it that came out and said that Carrington isn't fit for purpose.
Oh, it was one of the Ineos lads, I think.
Yeah, the stadium clearly is leaking. the pitch, on the pitch, players are now, oh, it's the players faking injuries. Like I feel like you're purposely ignoring like major signs that the whole structure has kind of fallen away.
Literally, the stadium is crumbling around where all the punditry is being done. They're like, is it Rashford's fault?
How fit is Rashford? No, but like, is he really hurt? You know?
It's funny, we had an episode titled Old Trafford Has Fallen Down.
Yeah.
And then this time, there was a lot of things in the media, like there was some tabloid headlines calling it, you know, because it's a waterfall. So they were saying, you know, Trafford falls and Old Trafford falls. So it's like it was set up nicely earlier in the season where it's like, it's fallen, it's crumbling. And then at the end of the season, to wrap it all up, it has officially fallen. The roof has coming down on the stadium. Like, I would say as well, like, 'cause I always knew the leak in the roof of the stadium. That's like a common thing. I didn't know the leak extends into the away dressing room. Did you see that video?
That's tactical, I think.
Yeah. And now that is one that they probably won't fix. If I was them, I'm leaving that.
So yeah, Arsenal won, kept the pressure on City. Will get the pressure on City. As you mentioned, they lost the game 2-0 a month ago to a pretty good Aston Villa side, and everyone's like, oh well, you know, that's it, it's done. Obviously, it wasn't mathematically done. It was in City's court. Then now it's yours to lose, and probably a testament to them that over the last month, even with the kind of bitter loss to Real Madrid, it hasn't seemed to affect them at all. They won again at the weekend against Fulham. They won 4-0. Again, this is the kind of game. It's like end of season, like the points matter so much more. It's like, oh, you can't drop points now. They just never do, you know?
No.
Like I said, it's a testament to how good they are and how well managed they are and how they're just rock solid mentality wise, that they go into these games and it's nothing to them. I don't know if you saw Josko Garriol's goals.
I've seen them, yeah. He's like, you can't just whip a player like that out at the end of the season. It's unfair.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot all year, but he got that goal against Real Madrid where I theorized that he got a bad first touch and just lashed it. He's kind of shown that maybe he wasn't lashed. Maybe he knew exactly what he was doing the whole time. When that first goal, he got it. He was coming on from that back. He's signed as a centre back, but he's kind of playing as a left back for City. Well able to run, well able to finish. And the second goal as well, it was like it looks like an easy tapping, but it was kind of Haaland-esque. He leaned forward, dived forward with his leg and got in with the outside of his boot. He was on a hat-trick, and he would have been the first ever defender in the Premier League era to score a hat-trick, apparently. They get a penalty. Kyle Walker, the representative of the City left-back union or full-back union.
He knows this. He knows this stat.
This be great for us, you know, our people, the full-backs of the world. And he said, you can take it. And he said, Julian is a penalty taker on the pitch. And he said, I'm not taking it, you know. And I just, it's maybe a small thing, but like, this is a guy who, you know, was kind of made famous in my eyes anyways by getting roasted by Messi in the World Cup. He's come to City. He's not the starting centre back when Diaz and Stones are fit. He's being utilised as a full back. He didn't win the treble last year. He only came this year. You know, you're not thinking, I have it sussed here at City. I'm going to be the next centre back for the next 5 years. Like, I'm kind of on the periphery, you know. Maybe I should have something in my locker here to show for the potential next club. If Pep looks me wrong way and goes, actually, I hate you now. I think you're bench. You know, like,
what did you say? Looking?
Was that a sigh? Did you raise your eyebrows? Did you not believe me when I said that? Do you have a question, Guardiola? You know? And he says, no, you know what? That's not how we do things here. We have the penalty taker take the penalty. I get 2 goals. If I score another, I'll score another one. But I'm not in this for professional gain or for personal gain in this. So, yeah, I guess it's this is the thing. They're always under pressure. It's not like, you know, they weren't under the same pressure that Arsenal were last year or that Liverpool have been in years before, but they just don't seem to crack under it. And I can't see them cracking in the next couple of games either.
No, and with the way the games have landed, it couldn't have landed in a worse way for Arsenal, where Man City will be playing Tottenham, who they do usually lose to, I will say.
Yeah.
But Tottenham, obviously, Arsenal's hard, like, big rivals. Tottenham do not like Arsenal. So
No.
even as professional as all these players are, you know, there's something somewhere down in one of the academy lads who's a starting and be like, fuck me, I don't want Arsenal to win a title. But also with Liverpool playing Villa tonight, If Villa win, that'll be fourth wrapped up, which means Tottenham will have literally nothing to play for. So not the best circumstance for Arsenal.
No, it's not. That is kind of the way it's set up. I mean, I don't know. I think who has been City's bogey team over the last couple of years?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Real Madrid. That's who.
How
did Real Madrid play? Kind of no tactics. Carlo Ancelotti raised his eyebrow. I mean, Jude Bellingham says much. He doesn't kind of go too tactical with it. He just kind of lets us go out and express ourselves and play. What did Eric Dyer say about Ange Postecoglou? He doesn't do
all vibes.
He doesn't know shit about football. Essentially, he doesn't do tactics.
Who got the better of Man City and Man United when Ollie was there every time? Always Ollie. Because again, just go out there, lads. I don't know what you're doing. You can't counter that. You can't out tactic someone who doesn't know what they're at.
You can't anticipate a move that isn't going, you know?
Yeah.
You can't, what system is this? Like, the system, pal, you know?
Just having a go, mate.
So they are, of the better teams, I guess, the best lined up to get a result against City, and they have in the past. And look, Aston Villa, if they lose to Liverpool tonight, then Tottenham are still in it. All the Tottenham players, it's tough. Do they care enough about getting top four? Is that like, we've talked about a lot this year for some reason. It's kind of a bullshit thing. Do they really want to get into the Champions League that bad? Do they care about Arsenal at all?
Yeah, you would think it's a team of foreign players. Like,
Son's been there a while, I suppose. He's lost a couple times to Arsenal. He probably sees how it affects the club and that. But I mean, a lot of them are pretty new. I mean, do you think Mickey Van de Ven has a good kind of grasp of it? Does he care enough?
Why are we not trying to win?
Yeah, it's always hard to know with these things. But yeah, look, if by the time this comes out, Aston Villa may have already beaten Liverpool, who, again, they're technically still in it, but they have not a lot to play for. I guess it's the Klopp farewell thing or whatever. But I mean, one bad sign though for Arsenal, if they're waiting for Tottenham to get a result, is that the last game Tottenham played was a home game. And they went out on the pitch and they applauded the crowd and brought the kids out and waved. Their last home game is actually against City. So it tells you that they didn't want to end on that note at home. So they've already had their goodbye, which means they're kind of planning a swift exit after this game before it even happens. I don't know. I mean, if you lose 5-0 to City and then try to applaud the crowd, it mightn't go down too well. So maybe it's just smart planning.
Yeah, that's how managers get sacked. if the players are walking around clapping and everyone's booing, that's the first red flag where this manager's got to go, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just been weird. It's very close in terms of points, but it's hard to even find a scenario where it doesn't play out exactly how we've known it's going to play out for the last month and really all year. Like, I know we're not the first to say it, but like, genuinely, when Tottenham were going well, we're like, obviously City are going to come back and win it, but I mean, how is it going to happen? How is it going to play out? So yeah, if it wasn't for that one league that Liverpool won, that everyone was so happy to have a go at them for because of the asterisks and the next year they were batting champions and all this, it's like, it's Farmers League territory. That would be like 7 in a row for them.
7 in a row, yeah.
So, I mean, when you take a step back, because those graphics that come up of like league winners in different countries. You see City 1, 2, 3, Liverpool 1, 2, 3. It's like, oh fuck! I mean, they have been pretty dominant. I just don't know where it ends. I'm waiting for a surprise press conference from Pep saying I've conquered it all and I'm leaving, but it hasn't happened yet. And if it doesn't, then that team is still good. I mean, there's been a lot of talk of Foden this year and how he should be player of the year. But I mean, I think it was, maybe not last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, he didn't play at all. And they won 3-1 or 4-1. It's like, that's why you don't get the respect you deserve. Because you're not, you can just take a game off in the middle. No other player who's done what he has for a team, who if you're that good, if Foden's on any other team who's as good as he is, he's not getting dropped at all. He's getting overplayed. People are saying, give him a rest. But in this game, he can just take a game off, come back. It's hard to see this City team not doing this for the next 2 or 3 years,
Yeah, it really is until I think Pep leaves. That's it. And even then, it's not even that case of like, and then they'll be bad. It's just, and then it'll start to slowly fizzle out as they make changes and it's a new team and all this.
Yeah.
It's like, I think this is just it, isn't it? For the foreseeable.
Yeah.
At least they didn't win the treble again. That was looking likely for a bit.
Yeah, just the definite double. Just the treble double.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you saw Paul Merson said that if Man United beat Man City in the FA Cup final, Eric Ten Hag should be knighted.
Yeah. This is what we said last year, and it was a goal after 13 seconds and a De Gea howler. I'm just saying, that when you look back at the results, go, well, that was an easy game. Finals are finals, I mean,
I do remember, I think that game was 2-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2-1 because we were 1-1, then to hit De Gea howler, and you look back, oh yeah, Man City won easily. It's like, well, it was two kind of weird moments.
I think McTominay hit the post, or he very nearly scored in the last minute of the game, and then it ended. But like, you do think, when you think back on the game, you think, oh yeah, play it off the pitch, over in 13 seconds. But they ran them very close. Like,
that's how finals usually go. Because even for a City who've been there, done before, it's still a big pressure final. It's like, you're very aware it's the end of the whole thing. It's like, there's a bit more pressure. So I don't know. I think it could happen. It's unlikely, but it could happen. I don't know if you saw some of the highlights from, or I guess lowlights of Haaland in the Fulham game. Missing a few kind of gilt-edged chances.
Back down in the league, is he?
I don't know. It's just like, it seems to maybe get into a little bit. I know he scored a hat-trick last week or 2 weeks ago, but I just think again, it's a final that you might get 2 or 3 chances in it, and you miss that first one, and you get the big wave from the crowd. You're thinking League Two player, it's in there somewhere.
It's echoing around his head.
It's maybe not the forefront of his mind, but when he misses, he knows that people are criticizing him, saying he's not a good footballer. That's what people are essentially saying. Yeah, you're a good striker, but you're not a good footballer. I don't care who you are. That is very, very frustrating for someone who's dedicated his life to this. And you've won all there is to win last year. People go, yeah, but he's not a good footballer. It's like, that has to just fuck up a little bit. A little bit. It has to be what the fuck is happening? Did I not win the Golden Boot last year?
In any job, if you were if, I don't know, even if people were saying to us, they're like, oh yeah, you're good podcasters. You're not good football podcasters. I'd be like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah. It's very specific criticism. It's like, well, no, obviously you're good and you're successful, but I wouldn't say you're complete or well-rounded. It's like, right, thank you. Wait a minute, that wasn't a compliment. It's just, because he was asked after the game, I don't know by who, but he was asked about Roy Keane, said this, yeah. And he said, I don't care what that man has to say, to be honest, and he just kind of walked off. Come on. The one where he kicked against Fulham there, where he just got way under it. He's trying to do the kind of curl around the outside, scooped it high and wide. I was like, that is not weird. Just to see him, he's not if he's good at finishing and he's not doing that well, then something is getting to him. Something is getting to him. So yeah, I don't know. That's the lifeline I might give Man United fans. Maybe Haaland isn't quite firing, but then again, Julian Alvarez is also.
Maybe Haaland will only score one goal,
and that's all it takes. Well, speaking of one-sided leagues, breaking news: Kylian Mbappé is set to leave PSG at the end of the season. Where did that come from? Wow!
Blindsided. He put out his statement. His words. He wants to hear. He wants you to hear this straight from him. He doesn't want you to hear any of the rumors going around.
No. I want you to hear this from me. It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Bart steals a video game and he covers the screen and says, no, I want you to hear from me. And there's 20 other screens playing the same video. It's like, oh, right. You already knew. It's like, this has been leaked, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? That he was
every summer for the last 3 years. He's been going to Real Madrid.
And then last minute change of heart and bank balance. And he's like, actually, I'll stay one more year. They changed the whole squad this year, got in a lot of his friends from the French national team. They got kind of far in the Champions League, but nothing doing. And a few weeks ago, it was leaked again that he was signing for Real Madrid.
Yeah, because Runer, of all surprises, Fabrizio Romano confirmed it during the summer, I think, and then he's been after every PSG game, he has it up on Twitter like, don't forget, he's going to Madrid. I confirmed it. But he gave a speech, his thank you to PSG and his goodbyes. I have some quotes from it. I won't play clips because I will say it is in French with subtitles. So he might have been done dirty on a few of these translations, I will say.
Lost in translation, they call it, Will.
But it's about 5 minutes long. And I will say the vast majority of it is a glowing review of his time at PSG, how much he learned and he loved it and he loves the fans and he's going to be still watching PSG every week. I'm assuming watching them hammering every team in the French league.
I wouldn't be so sure about that, Will, to be honest. I wouldn't be so sure about that.
We'll see who they replace him with, I suppose.
I tell you, I mean, I was just looking at stats this year. I mean, he's got 27 in the league in 29 games and 7 assists. He's got 8 goals in 12 in Champions League. So that, says, well, there's your Farmers League theory out the way. He's got 8 and 5 in Coupe de France. He's got 44 goals in 47 games and 10 assists. I mean, that's why they win these leagues. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like every other team is shite. He is really, really good. And there was 1 year that he hasn't won the league in France. Since 2017. He won it at Monaco, was bought to PSG, and they've won the league every year since. I mean, he was the second last team to beat PSG in the league because of his goals. I mean, you're taking those goals out of the league, and they're not going to another team in the league. But I mean, I don't know who's going to come in and replace them. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Gonzalo Ramos is not going to score 44 goals
He's not
next
the guy.
He's not going to score 20 plus goals for PSG next year. No chance. So, I mean, it's like when Bayern Munich lost Lewandowski. They haven't really replaced him yet. Well, Harry Kane obviously this year, but you lose those kind of goals, you have to replace them with that kind of player. So yeah, Bayern Munich got in Harry Kane. Who were PSG going to get? I don't think there's anybody out there as good as Kylian Mbappé who wants to go to PSG anymore.
Well, you were very glowing of his record and his accomplishments at PSG. Mbappé, not so much, I'll say. He said, it's difficult to leave my country, but I need a new challenge. I know I'm not the most demonstrative player. I haven't always lived up to my hype, but I never wanted to cheat and I always wanted to be effective.
I never wanted to cheat.
That's what I think what he's saying there. So I thought the same thing. I was like, ooh. But I think what he's actually saying there is he never wanted to cheat the fans, as in he always put in the effort. Even though maybe they didn't win the Champions Leagues and stuff, he always felt like he put in the effort,
Oh, okay. Fair enough, yeah.
He also said, I thought this was funny. He said a chance to grow at the club as a man with all of the glory and the mistakes he's made over the years. And then he said a special thank you to his managers, Unai Emery, Tuchel, Pochettino, Galtier, Enrique. And I was like, how long have you been here?
Is it the whole history of the club? What's going on?
He said, then this is probably my favourite quote of it. He said, PSG is a club that never leaves anyone indifferent. You either hate it or you love it. I've chosen to love it for the last 7 years.
It's that cringe Man United thing they always say.
Exactly.
Hated, adored, never ignored. I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably a good move for him for his own kind of star quality.
Yeah,
Real Madrid is confirmed, isn't it? That's Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, I think they'll probably want to play up front though for Real Madrid, won't they?
Yeah, I don't know where you because I suppose so, but I always think when things are going so well, at Real Madrid, it's like, do you want to be upsetting this? Do you want to be? How about we had Mbappé in here, stir the pot a bit?
No, but I think it'll probably work out. But because he's a very good player, as I say, he's a very good player. For PSG, I don't know where that leaves him. I suppose we'll see what happens for their summer this window. Maybe we'll see the club up for sale. I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know where I was going to pan out for them. But
well, you said they were looking for who's going to replace the goals. I did see under PSG's or under Mbappe's interview segment, the tweet directly under it was more blockbuster news as an all-time great player is leaving. Choupo-Moting is leaving Bayern in the summer as his contract is over. So maybe he's the guy. Get him in. He always pops up with goals.
Yeah, that does feel like a new PSG signing. Gets him on a free, and he'll get in another 10 extra goals for us this year. It'd be nice to see him in the Premier League, I guess, because that's kind of the games that we watch.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So we'll see him probably as much as we do at PSG. You might see more highlights because it's Real Madrid. It's a weird day to think of a PSG less or an Mbappe less PSG. It's been 7 or 8 years now. So I mean, it's
It's not even just that, it's the starless PSG. Like, there's no marquee name there now, really. It's Ugarte's time to shine.
Now it's officially Ugarte's team. Another legend leaving the club after the second spell in charge, David Moyes. Will, I'd kind of forgotten this, but it was brought up again this week that he was there and then let go.
Yeah,
and brought back in again. It's like, actually, you know what, David, we were too harsh the first time. You are a good manager, and I think you're exactly what this club needs. And led them to European glory. Sure, it was a newly formed Mickey Mouse tournament, but it counts. You know, it's European glory, the first European tournament since, I don't know, wherever the fuck. But West Ham is kind of like Chelsea or Real Madrid, one of the top clubs. You got to win every year. You know, you can't just sit in your laurels and top with the things you used to win, you know. And he's out. David Moyes, he finished his second spell, the second coming of David Moyes at West Ham with a 3-1 win at home. Is there a chance that David Moyes has another second coming at Man United after this? He's free, Will. He's available.
I'd be totally fine. We were talking about it before we went on, but it's insane to see how things change. Where now West Ham are 2 points behind Man United, probably going to finish above them in the league. And it's David Moyes who's being sacked for underperformance this time. For how the hell did you finish behind them?
Yeah, that's how much the bar has been lowered since he was there 10 years ago. It's like you're still being told you're not good enough as a manager, but by different clubs. And
yeah. And this time he hasn't. I mean, like, they're in 8th or 9th. Like, I don't really see why. I don't really see what he's done wrong. I don't know how much they're going to kick on. Like, this. That's 8 is a pretty good level in the Premier League. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm joking. They're like, I mean, they obviously won a trophy last year. Everyone likes to win trophies. There's only 5 of them, is there?
Yeah, and you won one of them.
I mean, for West Ham, what they qualified for this year was Europa League, which they got to the later stages in. You know, they weren't knocked out at the first round. The league, right? Didn't win that one. The 2 cups, they knocked out both of them.
Chalk that off.
Okay, 4. So there's 4 then they could have won. But you know, your Europa League is very competitive. First of all, it's not the Conference League; it's Europa League, very competitive. The league, obviously, come on, no one expected to win that. So then there's the Caroling or the Carabao Cup, which no one respects, and then there's the FA Cup. So I mean, it's like, you know,
yeah. What the hell do you want him to do?
To say they have to win a trophy every year of the 4 that he was eligible to win. I guess now next year there's only, you know, 3 they're technically eligible to win, so he's lessened his chances again next year. So I don't know, it just seems a bit harsh. I think it was the style of play that they were upset about most, wasn't it? It was the way they were playing they didn't like.
But I don't know, like we've seen now, that was a big problem at United for a long time. It's like, this Van Gaal guy is boring, get rid of him, get Mourinho in. Okay, now this guy's boring, do you know, like, who cares about the style of the play if you're doing well? I just don't think it matters as much. Spurs as well, they were gagging to get rid of Conte, and then they got Poch in because free flowing attacking football. This is great, and it is great.
Or Ange, and Pascal.
Or yeah, when you get Ange in, and then until you lose 4-0 to Chelsea in that game, where your team is halfway up the pitch for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? I just think,
yeah,
they've got to stop. Who cares? Just if you win, that's good. Isn't that what you want to do?
Every team wants to win and look good doing it. That's what every fan wants. You know, you want to go and watch something entertaining and be part of something winning.
Like 3 clubs could do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think win more games than you lose and look good doing it. You don't necessarily have to, you know, I think if they had the same season they had this year, but they felt kind of more exciting.
They were pressing.
That would have got David Moyes another year in the job. But like I say, it's a very hard thing to do because it's a very competitive landscape out there. So to be exciting and score goals and also stay competitive, it's a tough one to do. I remember Sam Allardyce came out years ago and said they'd rather be in relegation than be mid-table because they just want to be relevant or something like that. And I think it was after he was sacked. It was quite a bitter interview. One was Betty.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me because like every time you see something this, you go, yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, you know,
proven right again.
There's a lot of teams that would love to have David Moyes and winning a trophy last year. And I mean, like, you know, it's 1 year they're a trophy he's sacked. It's amazing. It's actually
and sacked like months in advance as well. It felt like this was been the talk for weeks is they're looking for a new manager. Remember they flew that guy in from Portugal?
Yeah, it just, again, it's like just a disrespectful kind of a way to do it almost. It's like, needless to say, David, we won't be renewing your contract. You could stick around.
You're not turning this around.
Yeah, but we don't have to make it. Like, we're just going to tell you right now, forget about it. You're done. And then you have to do as if like someone else is going to come in and take the job. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. A rough one on David Moyes. Never should have left Everton. Will he wouldn't? This never happened in his watch at Everton.
Maybe he's finally the guy. Maybe that's who Ireland have been waiting for. They're waiting for someone out of contract. Maybe it was him. Maybe they were expecting him to be sacked in April.
Maybe they thought he would turn around at West Ham. They thought surely they'll give it to him at the end of the season, but it doesn't seem to have happened that way. So yeah, David Moyes to Ireland. I would take that. That'd be savage. Actually,
that'd be great. That'd be unbelievable.
Actually, Will, that makes some sense, doesn't it? When think of David Moyes' career, right? He's been at Everton. And lots of plaudits, and longest serving manager behind Ferguson and Wenger, all that stuff. Big move by night, didn't work out. Fair enough. Went to Spain, Real Sociedad, not great either. Sunderland kept them up. West Ham sacked, back into West Ham, sacked again. He's thinking, this is actually a pretty rough owl business.
Yeah,
even though
clubs are not very nice to deal with.
Like David Moyes is probably thinking, I'm probably one of the more successful managers in my profession. I'm not saying he's up there with like the Ancelotti's and stuff like that, but I mean, in terms of getting jobs and then getting results and staying in clubs and bringing in new players and creating structures, and to still be like, David, pack your things, you're out there the season, you're done, and also you're boring and we hate you. He must be thinking, maybe I've had enough of this. Maybe I do need something that's like, they're not going to be too over the top in terms of expectation.
Yeah, something chill.
So we're not too far away,
Yeah. He's getting older. He's probably thinking, I don't want to be traveling too much.
It's a good job if David Moyes. They are in job. Because he's thinking, okay, I'm looking at it. And he has been looking at it because he's probably looking at, is there any Irish players playing for West Ham? Randolph, wasn't he? Was he a West Ham player for a while? I don't feel that's after David Moyes territory. But surely David Moyes is looking at that kind of market. Irish players coming to West Ham, maybe.
Yeah, he's seen them.
He's seen Ireland. He's like, he knows where we're at. He knows that we're struggling to find a manager. He knows that the expectation would be, not huge. So if we got David Moyes, that would be a huge coup for us. I think that could be the move, man.
I think it comes down to, would he be happy to be paid in relative pennies compared to any other job he could get?
Yes, but the other job that you get, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of this disrespectful shit,
Why aren't we counter-pressing or whatever?
Because I have Mikel Antonio up front, Jesus, I mean, yeah. Jared Bowen is probably going to go to the Euros under David Moyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, coming into the Ireland job as well, because we've been experimenting with, we just want to play attractive football. It didn't work. We'll be happy with whatever football you want to play, Moyes.
I think the way the manager research has gone on, if we were to come out of this somehow and land ass backwards into David Moyes, we'd be like, whoa, what a result. Like, we'd be thrilled. Like, that's amazing. That is huge. We were talking about Chris Coleman before, now we've got David Moyes. I mean, if he came, people, it wouldn't even be like, oh, now the manager's going to take us to the top. It would be just in disbelief we've got a manager that good. I'm telling you, I think this is good for everybody. And we have decent players too. Let's not say that it's an easy job, we don't have to do anything. There's decent players there.
Think how many of those, like you're saying, I don't know what Irish players play for West Ham, but there's a lot of Irish players you could see playing at West Ham.
Yes.
Like a Collins or a Ferguson or all these. Those are like kind of West Ham-y names.
They are West Ham kind of players. I mean, he's 61 now.
Oh, kick the feet up. Manage a game every 3 months with us.
I think so. Honestly, I think club football has not been kind to him. I don't mean that in a kind of a backhanded way. I mean, like, genuinely, they could have been nicer to him. I think he might be sick of this. I think this West Ham experience, surely by the end of this now, he'd be like, do you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done with this. Yeah. Ireland jobs available, decent young players. It's right there. It's right there for him.
Yeah, this is the one.
And again, the money's probably the only thing that holds it up. But I mean, I think it'd be a lot more fulfilling than working at I don't know. Where's the next job that could go up in the Premier League? Wolves, maybe? Wolves,
Brentford.
Yeah, when Thomas Frank gets poached by somebody, then you got to come in and do Brentford.
Yeah.
No, I think Ireland's a job for David Moyes. Confirmed.
Done. Lock it in. See you in August or September, whenever O'Shea is done.
Yeah, he'd have O'Shea there as a second command to be perfect. Well, that's about it. I think. Will that's kind of all the news. I'm pretty sure. As we say, as this comes out, there'll be new things happening that we've missed. But that's life, isn't it? You know, you can't catch it all.
What do you think we are?
This isn't like a 24-hour news site. You know, this is just kind of once in a while we kind of cast an eye over the goings on and give lukewarm takes on them. And if you want to hear more of these lukewarm takes, and these,
you want to hear more eyes being cast,
go to patreon.com/Anonymous Podcast. Midweek games come up this week. As we mentioned there before, Aston Villa play Liverpool and
Spurs and Man City. Title deciding games.
Title deciding games in the midweek. We'll cover them on the Patreon. This is the last weekend of the Premier League coming up?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do a bit of a preview for the last game, see how it all shakes out. It could already be decided, I guess, by then, a lot of the positions, but yeah, we'll be having a preview of that.
So we've got all the midweek games coming up, the previews for the end of the season and all this, but also this week on the Patreon, we're going to do one of our patented documentary reviews.
Oh, yeah.
On Netflix at the moment, there is a 1 hour documentary about Wembley falling during the Euros final a few years ago, which was a cornerstone moment for the podcast, I think. Some of you might remember, obviously the game was amazing with all the Italian dark arts, but some of you might remember the scenes of the stampedes going into the stadium, the man with the firework in his arse, all of these things. We're going to get the behind the scenes stories of how it all went down. And we'll be talking about that on the Patreon this week. Giving you the minute by minute breakdown of what fights we see and fireworks are shoved where.
A nostalgic look at the pandemic, you know. Who could forget those magical times where people had lost the run themselves completely in documentary form. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to watch that actually. And
yeah, that'll be good crack.
Kind of looking over it. But yeah, that'll be this week on the Patreon as well. So yeah, great time to sign up. As you mentioned, the Euros is always coming up. It's also coming up this summer. So we'll be covering all those games as well. So yeah, till then, we will see you next week. And for any ultras out there on the Patreon, we will see you Friday.
Yep. Good luck.
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed about that question, but you thought obviously it's good. I enjoy every day. We're giving our supporters some joy and some belief and some hope.
You know, there's no law. There's no one's gonna die.
Yeah, bin it, mate. Just bin the whole idea.